Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the You Haven't Seen That Movie Podcast, a bi-weekly podcast where my guests and I watch a famous movie I've never seen before and discuss it. This week, we're talking about Top Gun, a 1986 classic starring Tom Cruise and Anthony Edwards. I'm your host, David Lonnie Waters, and in my guest chair today, we have Riley Howard.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Riley.
What's up, man?
How's it going?
It's good. It's an honor.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for, I don't know, maybe like a couple weeks. This was a quick turnaround.
Yes. Well, we did it.
We did it. It was one because I haven't seen you in a long time, and I just wanted to see you.
Right.
You were... I guess how we know each other. We met, I guess, in high school or middle
Was
school.
It even junior high? Yeah,
junior high, I think. Yeah. And you just generally been there. We went to a Baptist church together for a little while. We had a lot of shenanigans with church camp and vacation Bible school.
All of it, dude. All of it.
That was a good time. You kind of went and did your own thing. You said you went to graduate school.
I did, yeah.
Now you're starting to work at where?
I'm over here in Fort Worth working at Lockheed. So
nice.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really funny because before I came over and we started chatting, I didn't realize that you...
The connection.
The plane connection. I was like, my uncle, he worked at Lockheed there, I think in Lake Dallas it is.
Yeah.
He worked there for a little while, and he was working on like Black Hawk helicopters.
Okay, dope. Yeah.
It's funny that you have that connection. Do you like your job?
I do. So I definitely stuck with aviation. It's definitely one of the large portions of my passions and whatnot. So I even started pilot's license, trying to get into some of that.
I was going to ask you earlier if you just seem like you say aviation nerd, your words.
Yes. Huge.
I would figure you would try and do that.
Yeah. So I started it. I've gotten the ground school stuff done. I need to do the test for it and then do some flight time. So,
okay. How long do you have to be up in the air for them to consider?
Yeah. So you have to do a ground school, and that's usually like 6 to 8 weeks of just like classroom time, and you take a test. And then the flying portion, it's similar like when you learn to drive a car or whatever, you have to do 60 hours in the air with an instructor, and then you do a practical test for that as well. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. And this is flying what? Just like
just your private civilian planes, usually single prop engine, like Cessnas or whatever. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. The crop dusters.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Not too much
I don't need a plane for that.
Right. Not too much buzzing of the towers on those. So
that's a good way to describe it.
Yeah. So
that's good.
Yep.
Well, I guess, Riley, how have you been these last couple of weeks?
Pretty good.
Yeah. Anything crazy happen?
No, I mean, I did get a promotion recently, so that's exciting.
Oh yeah, exciting. From what to what? You didn't explain exactly what.
That's fine. So I just software engineering. So went from a level 2 to a level 3. So I'm in the senior.
And what does that entail?
Level. Exactly. What's that? Software engineering?
Yeah.
So programming, the major languages and whatnot. We're on.
So you're the one building the code.
Exactly. That just goes on the plane. So
nice.
Yeah. Pretty cool stuff. So just took a new promotion there, and other than that, just hitting the gym and just draining all the energy out at the end of the day. So
from the way we were talking, it sounds like you got a pretty set schedule.
That's right. Yeah.
Same though.
Yep. I'd like to do a bodybuilding show in a year or so. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, just
you'll
to
have
say
to invite me out
it.
to that. That'll be a lot of fun.
Definitely. Yeah. Just to, I don't know, man. Just looking back and you're like, hey, I did that. So I think it'd be really exciting. So
yeah. No, that's another thing that I've always adored about you. It's just like we know each other in junior high, but I was telling you when we went to go get lunch, we had this amazing torta.
Yes. That's my favorite.
Remind me the name of it.
La Pasadita.
Ooh, yeah. Oh my god, it was so good. Yeah. And then you get a side of French fries, so it's like you get both.
Yes.
You get both.
I'm so glad you liked it, dude. It's my favorite. I'll go every weekend, pretty much. They know my name. They know what I'm going to order.
Right.
They say hi. So yeah, it's a good place.
Yeah. So yeah, nonetheless, like I was about to say, we played football together for a brief moment,
and then tennis, like we just mentioned.
And then I guess you weightlifted. That's really that was another aspect of I don't want to say your personality, but it's something you know.
I try to get involved in like random areas, right? So like I do have my nerd side. I like to game. Like last night I played Rocket League with my buddies and drank a beer or two. And then, you know, I love movies a lot like you. Love breaking them down and talking about it. And then, you know, just in the gym, I don't know, it's so freeing to like get all the stress out and just, you know, and I work out with really good friends and I meet new people. And so, yeah, it's just.
You're a Renaissance man.
I'm quite the Renaissance man. Yes. Always reinventing myself. Yes,
exactly. So, yeah, no, you're very multifaceted. Yes. Thank you for being on.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. And then I'm going to send props about you too. We can't let me not talk about you, man.
Go ahead.
But yeah, as you said, we go back to junior high and hanging out. And one of the biggest things I was looking forward to today was honestly, we used to laugh constantly when we were always hanging out. And we would never even like, oh, here's the plan to make us laugh. We would just talk and just laugh. And as soon as you got here, we started making jokes about, you know, groceries and just different stuff. And
okay, so I got to pause and give the people context.
Sure,
Riley, I walked into his place, and this man, besides the cold stuff,
sure,
it's all on the ground in the bags.
Details, ladies. No,
he has a lot of pantry space filled.
Yeah, it happens. You know, let's just leave it at that. There's not a ton of groceries.
Yeah, no. I agree because I think that's maybe just like my sense of humor too. Yeah. Because my twin Tanya, her and I will. It's like I feel like it's a ping pong game or like a table tennis or tennis. Nonetheless, like it's just like throwing the joke back. I want somebody else to tack something on, and then it come back to me. I want to tack, and then it just continually snowballs, and it just becomes the funniest thing.
That's exactly how my friends and I operate. It's like who can. It's not necessarily winding up, but it's like who else can like take this origami and fold it again, and it's like it's just the funnest thing. And for you and me, it's always like we haven't seen each other in years, and we have the type of friendship and personalities that we can just pick back up and just laugh our butts off.
Exactly. So, yeah. Good. Yeah, I love that. Thank you. That's I love my sense of humor.
I mean,
and you very simpatico.
Yes, that's also a great word. I love that.
What's that from? Do you know? Simpatico.
I just watched something recently.
I think maybe it's like Bad Teacher. Have you ever seen that one?
No, I haven't. But somebody says it, and then the other character is like, "Oh, of course I know what that means," and they don't know what it means. I'll have to think about it.
I don't know.
I'll have to think about it.
Yeah. If it comes up,
well, was it in one of the Marvel movies? Is it in the Ant-Man movie?
No. Oh. I think maybe you're getting the Paul Rudd thing because I think
maybe so.
Maybe, and I love you, man, but I don't.
Okay, we'll think about it.
Yeah. If there's a like light switch moment,
right?
Definitely,
right. Trivia for the listeners out there.
Exactly.
What are we talking about?
It's more for me than it is the listeners.
Right. For sure.
So before we get into it, I want to let everyone know if you want to show your support for the You Haven't Seen That Movie podcast, check out our Facebook group, and we have a page, we have a group, and then we also have an Instagram page too. So check it out. Riley, I want to get into. The opening segment that we have is what have you been watching?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I do like watching a lot of movies. Right. Go ahead.
No, you mentioned earlier that you watched Training Day.
Yes. So
I love that movie.
Right.
Denzel.
So for me, I'll get on Netflix and see either what's trending or different suggestions. And so Training Day's been on my quote unquote list on Netflix for a long time. And I had some time the other night and had eaten dinner or whatever and came back and was just chilling solo and was like, you know what? I should watch a movie I haven't watched. And I was like, let's do it. So yeah, I did watch Training Day. Loved it. If you ever want to, have you already done one on Training Day?
No. So I'm actually thinking about doing a like separate podcast, like kind of not like on the other, because this is like bi-weekly.
Yep.
Like on the opposite week, doing movies that I like and showing them to people and getting their reactions.
Right.
I think that would be nice flip-flop because Training Day, I started to make a list of the good ones, and Training Day was
that's a good idea.
One that's on there.
That's an excellent. Of course, Denzel's got so many that you could do it on. But yeah, so I've watched that. I do a thing where there's a group of us at work that kind of pick out something and we all start watching it. So I did Game of Thrones with one of my buddies at work. We watched through all of that
movie. That's
the TV
that's a long movie.
TV shows. But that's a lot of what I'm doing right now is binge watching TV shows. So Peaky Blinders. I know it's not a movie, but I really do like it.
No,
really do like it a lot.
I was about to say, you mentioned Netflix. Netflix put this. It's called Jupiter's Legacy.
Oh yeah, I saw it advertised, but I haven't watched it.
Not bad. Not bad. It's like nothing like what Marvel is. It's like a more dire tone. Not as dire as like maybe a Batman or that, but it's a nice middle ground. It does this weird like ping pong thing. Like every other scene. It's the future, and then the next scene will be in the past.
Interesting.
Every single cut of like a scene or whatever will flip back.
Ping pong is the best way to put that.
It is, because it's just really, it was really odd, because once I noticed it did it every time, and I was like, okay, I guess this is how we're going to do it.
Theme. Yeah.
So
okay, interesting.
that's a good one. I also watched, I watched two other things. One, I watched Due Date.
Yeah,
I've never seen that before with RDJ and Zach Galifianakis. I think his name was.
Yes, it is.
Oh my god,
that was great.
Hilarious.
It's got a lot of quotes. One of the most memorable pieces from that movie is when they put Zach in the back of the pickup and Jamie Foxx is driving. They hit a bump or something and launches him out of the
drainage ditch.
It's so good. It's so funny, man.
I was one of my favorite parts is like almost that. It's right before it when he's he's mad at Zach Galifianakis. Yeah, he's just ruining his trip or whatever, and he's like I don't like animal abuse, but he spits on his dog. And he was just like in the heat of the moment. He gets in the car with Jamie Foxx. He's like, dude, you spit on his dog. He's like, I did what? Oh, I guess I like locked that out.
And it's such a weird pairing of actors too for Robert Downey, who's very. I mean, he plays the sarcastic characters really well, right? But he plays more so of a serious role, and so him with Zach is just very interesting. Like I would love to see a Two Ferns with those two guys. I don't know if there is one or not, but
no clue.
That would be hilarious.
What's that? The Two Ferns is the one with him.
With Zach, yeah.
What's the John C. Reilly one? Because I always get those two confused.
He's got a podcast? Or like a little like running... Oh, this crazy science guy?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember what it's called, but he's hysterical.
He just like wears those thick bifocals and it's...
Yes, and the crazy hair.
Yeah, and the crazy hair. Yeah,
I don't remember what it's called. That one's good too. Gosh.
I watched this one last night. It was a documentary on Netflix. I think it was just called Studio 54.
Oh yeah.
And it was about this discotheque in the 70s and how I like kind of closed out the 70s like disco era, and after that it was like, you know, disco is dead or all that that fun phase stuff. Different time. Though I if reincarnation.
Would you want to go back to the disco time?
No, well, I'm sure I've had that. I'm sure I died because maybe I did too much cocaine or something.
I just want to see you with a big fro. Like I want to see that.
It could happen. Yeah. It could happen. Yeah. You know, at night whenever I just take off the ball cap or whatever, just like picking at my hair and.
I want to see you with like the big collared shirts, you know, and just like really grooving like you're John Travolta, you know.
Yes. That's never seen that one.
I haven't either.
Called Dirty Dancing? Isn't it?
No. That's no. Well, I'll tell you why. No, I'll tell you why. It's so what you're thinking of is Saturday Night Fever, I think.
Oh,
that's
yes.
And then the Dirty Dancing one is Patrick Swayze, and he falls in love with an underage girl, and they dance and all that. That's why it's Dirty Dancing.
Woof.
I think she's underage.
Woof, okay,
I've never seen it, so I don't know. You get the idea.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, so other than that, I really don't have too much else. I wanted to, there's no updates for the podcast, but with the voicemails, you know, I don't get very many voicemails.
Well, now that I know about it, I'm going to start calling it.
Well, I hope that a lot of people, I'm going to do this thing where I'm going to buy some stickers, and anybody who leaves a voice message, I'm going to make sure to leave it in the, you know, voicemail thing to leave your address or whatever, but I'll send you a sticker.
I like that. Yeah, that's good. You should do that. Yeah. That'd be cool, man.
So, yeah, other than that, let's go ahead and jump into Top Gun.
All right.
So, Riley, you've seen this movie, yes?
I own a shirt, yes.
I walked up today and you were like, look at the shirt. And I was like, I don't get it.
And I was like, just wait. I'm sorry, I forgot. Just wait.
When that part of the movie came up, you were like,
Yeah. And for the listeners, of course, the shirt is written upside down, but the quote is "because I was inverted," and that's in the movie. And I was
very confused walking up. I was like, I don't know how to read anymore.
Like, oh, cool, Riley. Yeah, here's a sticker. Here's a sticker. Like,
yeah, right. That's funny. Shit. So I guess, Riley, why did you pick this movie?
Yeah. Okay. So all right. So I love podcasts, and you said you were doing a podcast, and then we're like, okay, let's see what movies you're doing. And so I scrolled down, and there's so many good movies on that list. And I got to Top Gun, and I was like, nobody's done Top Gun yet. You're like, no, and I was like, I'm your guy. This is mine. I was like, slap my name on that. So
this is, definitely stars aligning type shit.
Yes. And so for me, the first time I saw this, I had to been like 8. I was with my dad, and we went over to one of his work buddies' houses. This guy, I think at the time, this guy still lived possibly with his parents. I can't remember, but he lived in like a above their garage in like a really sweet bachelor pad. And he was like an audio nerd, so he had just put in a sound system, subwoofers and everything. And so you remember that intro scene with the jets taking off and the music. He played that. I mean, they're like ears plugged, like, because I was like 8, right? So it was really loud, right? So that was like the first thing. And then
was it good or a bad experience?
Well,
for you?
It was a scary experience because it was so loud, right?
Like, but I don't know what surround sound is. It scares me.
Jesus. And so then later on, when I was probably had to have been high school, was when I like actually started appreciating the movie and saw it again and was like, wow, I actually really do like love planes, like the way it makes me feel and learning about them and stuff. And then in college had some experiences that we'll talk about later with the movie. And it's just always been close to my heart, and I've watched it ever since. And
so can I ask, what do you like specifically about it? Like, are you talking about like
I like planes.
The planes.
Yeah, I mean, the planes are great.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, the planes, and then I have a huge respect for military, of course. Fighter pilots, it's just a badass thing, and
something that piqued your interest.
Yeah,
from
definitely,
when you were really young.
definitely. It's like, I mean, it's like real life Star Wars, man. Like, it's a weird way to put it.
I to kind of this thing I've been doing lately is just taking a picture of the movie while I'm watching it. Right. And the picture that I got, I'm sure if you look in the group or whatever, you can see, it looks like it's whenever they're pressing the fire button.
Yes.
In the cockpit, it looks like a Star Wars movie.
Exactly.
And so it's funny you say that.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's just, I love planes. I love there's danger involved in it. They're doing a duty. They're out there just kicking butt. Right. And, I guess I think I do have an adrenaline junkie side too. Like, I always loved roller coasters. I love that.
I think for church we've gone to a few Six Flags trips.
Of course. And so I've always loved that. I always wanted to be a fighter pilot and just ended up not going down that path, of course.
Right.
But of course, you got to love Tom Cruise. You gotta love
some
him.
love hate.
Love him in some, leave him in others. And of course,
definitely.
Goose. All the Goose lines.
Yeah,
are really
Goose
great.
is good too. Yeah, definitely.
So.
My perceptions going in, I guess, Kenny Loggins.
Yes.
I love Kenny Loggins. Some Danger Zone for you. I love that song. I mean, I watched it. Archer, I asked you if you had watched it earlier, and they make that joke, that Danger Zone joke, a lot, and I was just like, I love that song, but in regards to like the movie, Tom Cruise, I'm not too hot on.
No, that's fair.
It's
that's
very, very hit and miss for me. One that did hit was you watched that Emily Blunt and him in Edge of Tomorrow. The one where he repeats his
Live, Die, Repeat or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
That one's not too bad.
That was interesting.
Like
it's a cool concept too.
Definitely. I just like the repeat, like the Groundhog Day. That's one I've never seen. Groundhog Day.
I saw part of it and was kind of like, whatever, but I should probably sit down and watch it. I don't think I've seen it as an adult, quote unquote, to like really appreciate it.
Yeah, so. I see. Yeah. You weren't putting that much attention into it.
Right. It's like, where's the groundhog? Like, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it.
I don't want to look at Bill Murray anymore.
Bill Murray. Oh, shit.
Jeez. And other than that, I've generally been fascinated with, jets, planes,
Right.
the like. I remember one time we went to go watch my twin sister Tanya graduate from boot camp.
Oh, nice. Okay.
We went to South Carolina, and this was separated. I guess she had to go to her next schooling for whatever she was getting specialized in, and we went on, I think it was the USS Charleston.
Okay.
That's like, I guess this city, it would make sense that the
Actually,
USS Charleston would be
you're right.
Charleston, but nonetheless, like I remember going up on one of the aircraft carriers, that one.
Yes, and they probably had some static planes up there posted up. Heck yeah.
It was a good time. I like being out there on the, I think there was a certain point where you couldn't walk and it was like roped off, but
right.
Like, look over the side.
Hey, what's over there?
I would drown if I fell.
Ooh, that's like 20 stories down or something.
It was that, and then side note, there was a submarine there too, like an old school submarine where we went down in it, and I literally had to like ball up into a ball and like move into the next corridor.
So claustrophobic for sure.
It was a good time.
That's pretty cool though. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So just generally fascinated with everything of that nature. But I guess let's go ahead and move into the movie itself.
Sure.
So the movie kind of starts out, you kind of mentioned it a little earlier, it gives this like nice ambiance of it's like dusk, shit's about to go down, the days start to,
it builds really, really well at the beginning of the movie.
It does. Yep. The soundtrack is one of my likes I'll get into later, but it really sets it because it's just nice. I don't really even know, I don't even know how to describe the music at the beginning of it.
It's
before it fades into Danger Zone.
Right. It's very, what do you call it? Like drum machine and synth. Is how it kind of builds up, basically what they're showing on the screen is all the pre-flight checks that they do on the deck of the carrier. They're checking the missiles, they're arming them, they're putting up the backstop for the jet to push off of. And
the backstop. I was wondering, what is that? What's the technical name for that? Whenever they're landing and they catch on that. I don't even know what to call it, roper.
Yeah. So they have a, and I'm trying to remember now. If you wouldn't have asked me, would have been able to tell you. But on the back of Navy planes, they have a hook that comes down and it grabs a set of wires, right? And so there's 3 sets, I believe. They want to hit the first one, or maybe they're targeting the middle. But there's a couple extra there in case it comes in weird. Of course, the ship is pitching up and down, or can be an unsteady sea, so they want to catch one of those. That's like the trap. I think it's called the trap. And so they put the hook down and they catch it. And of course, if their hook is broken or if they have any issues, they have other ways of catching a plane. But
really,
what
is that? Do you know?
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember what they would do now. But at one point in naval history, they would use this big net. It's literally just flying into a net. And the idea is so the nose would go through these vertical I don't even know what it's made out of. Probably Kevlar, nylon, whatever.
Right.
And the nose would be able to go through it. It would catch the wings and stop. There's videos of that out there. I know that they used it, probably in the Vietnam era. I don't know if they use it in modern era. I think they do because, if they have a landing gear that's messed up, or if they've got engine issues, or if the hook's broken off or won't deploy, they have to land a certain way. So
which is really funny you say that because whenever I guess this opening sequence, it fades into Danger Zone.
Yep.
You meet Maverick, you meet Goose,
right.
You meet Cougar and somebody else.
Cougar and Merlin.
Yes. Yes. They all, I'm sure, were wearing those sunglasses the whole time. But Merlin is somebody Maverick is paired up with later in the movie.
Yes.
So
correct.
Now
correct.
it's all coming back.
And that's actually, I think it's, is it Tim Robbins? It's one of the actors. He's a huge name, but he gets like 5 minutes in the whole movie, which is kind of crazy.
Like Tom Cruise is like just trying to boast up to him in those 5 minutes, I think.
Exactly.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I guess from there, like take off and we're doing a training exercise or whatever.
So that was actually real at the beginning.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I did ask this and I was confused about it.
Right. And so basically what's going on there is, again, we mentioned it's kind of the Cold War era of, the 80s where it's like we're both kind of, what do you call it when you're kind of like who's got the bigger arm, who's stronger kind of thing, and
like
so
proxy war type
stuff. Right. Yeah. And so they're over the Indian Ocean, and I believe all of this is it's like the time period is like accurate, but like I don't know that like these military events ever happened. So they're over in the Indian Ocean, they're flying around, flying their sorties, which is we're going to go out to this point, check it out, whatever. They come across some MiG-28s.
MiGs, yes.
MiG-28s.
I had to ask Riley what that meant. Russian planes.
Yes, Russians, and they're painted all black with the red star, and so nobody ends up firing, but they end up kind of jockeying for superiority, I guess, is kind of how you would say
Of
that.
like a sector or whatever.
Exactly. So that's kind of what happens there.
Yeah, so it's very interesting, and it really shakes up Cougar.
It does.
His wingman, I guess. Right. I thought the wingman was somebody who was flying, who was in the actual plane with them, but I guess no, it's just the other jet with them.
Correct.
So this dude Cougar, he gets shaken up. This is their call sign.
Yes, yeah.
His name is Cougar.
He's not a cougar.
Cougar, no last name. He's like Cher.
He's actually a real life animal cougar, and he's always clawing the seat up. And
it's very impressive. He gets into Top Gun school. He's definitely 1%.
He's the best. He's definitely the best.
He's the best fighter pilot cougar guy.
He's good.
But nonetheless, this Russian MiG situation shakes him up, and then I wanted to loop it back in because he I guess has some PTSD or something.
Yeah,
or just shocks the shit out of him.
Right.
And he's trying to just make it back. They were both low on fuel.
Right.
Maverick kind of turned in early.
Right. Yeah. So he goes into shock and he's thinking about his kids and his wife, and he's got his picture on his dash, and that's very cliche. I know they do it in real life, but movies really want to show you that.
Oh, yeah. I feel that was half the time. It was just it eventually zooming in on that picture of them.
Right.
That was a theme throughout the movie because even Goose has some family stuff later on. So
exactly.
But shakes him up, and then he makes a rocky landing.
Yes, he does. He makes a very shaky landing.
Very just the way he was
yes.
What is it called? Yaw?
I think it's yawing.
Yeah.
Rolling
yaw.
left and right.
Yaw. Make sure you don't yawl. Just it's because we're in Texas.
Yeah, that's right. Yaw.
But so Cougar, they get back.
Right.
Or whatever. Tom Cruise is commended, but also scolded for going back because it's it's a government, taxpayers are paying for it. I mean, I think about that every time I think of machines like that, or the jets specifically, because oops. I got to get out of this. Pull the chute, and it's just done with. Right. You can't use that.
The commander's that's a $30 million plane. And it's really kind of interesting because now planes are 3 to 4 times that.
Yeah. Don't even need pilots.
Yeah. The next ones might not, actually.
Yeah. So that's when we get into,
it kind of sends him off to Top Gun.
Yeah. Cougar was the number one person, and he quits after being shaken up.
Correct.
And Goose and Maverick get bumped up into that slot.
Right.
So they get sent off to Top Gun school. Is it really called? No, you told me the technical name for it.
So earlier. I think, and it mentions at the front of the movie where there's text that come up, and it's advanced fighter school, advanced weapons fighter school, or something like that. But the pilots call it Top Gun. Mm-hmm. So.
Hey, I'd call the school Top Gun.
Heck yeah, that sounds awesome. You're the Top Gun. Exactly.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
We're the 1%. I guess from there, that's where you meet a lot of important. I don't want to say important characters because I feel Tom Cruise carries the movie.
Sure.
Cruise carries the movie. But we meet Viper. This is a vet. They introduce him as the best fighter pilot.
Correct.
In the world.
He's the lead trainer. He's the lead professor kind of.
So big top dog. He'll come in later. But you also meet Jester, the instructor, which is Michael Ironside. Riley and I made the joke, but every time I think of Michael Ironside, I always think of Transformers, just because there's that one name Ironside.
Right. And then I also think of, isn't it Starship Troopers that he's in? Where they shoot the bugs.
He is.
See, I told you I was a movie guy.
I love that movie.
Yeah,
I love that movie. I'm going to put that on my list of movies I like.
Yes.
Michael Ironside, love him.
I know.
He's the one who threw that knife at that guy, and it his hands in the
is that in that movie?
Wall. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Starship Troopers.
Yes. He's a beast. He always plays that guy.
Does not have a lot of screen time here. He is physically there.
Right.
He gets a lot of B-roll shots.
Right.
But he's not. He talks to him. He lectures Maverick and Goose a few times.
Right.
But slap on the wrist.
Right.
And stuff.
And then he also, you were probably going to mention, also he plays one of the primary. So when they do fighter training, you usually have red team, blue team, and I believe blue team is usually United States, and red team is opposing. So he plays a lot of the red side.
Yeah, he was in the other jets.
Correct.
Opposing.
Correct.
The
A4 Skyhawks.
Oh, very specific.
Yes, that's what they were. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I told you, a plain nerd. Told you.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know. Oh God, I'm not even gonna think of Tomcats.
Yeah.
Okay. Thought that was a construction company.
No.
See, this is why you're here.
Hey, I told you this is my movie, man.
We also meet Val Kilmer.
Yes.
Top.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Leading
lady. I mean, leading.
Leading, I guess, class
right.
Or leading student. Or
he's
whatever.
the hot shot.
He's definitely the one to.
Right.
I guess they get a trophy at the end of each graduation or whatever each cycle.
Call sign
and. Iceman?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He's not actually made of ice, but
Kaczynski.
Kaczynski.
He's like, I feel like halfway through the movie, his nickname became his actual name.
I really feel like they would use his last name as like an insult, almost.
That's what I was thinking.
Tom
towards
Cruise
the end. I was like,
yeah.
Okay, Mr. Iceman.
It's like, you got it there, Kaczynski. It's like, is that like some sort of slur? Like, what's going on? Like,
yeah, that's my name. Yeah,
the 80s were wild.
Don't wear it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, you meet all those fun characters,
right.
and then we get to they have like, I guess, a meet and greet. They meet up at a bar, and
right.
then
Typical,
this is where we meet his love interest. I forget her name.
Charlie is her call sign, I guess.
Oh, I see. And
because it's like Charlotte, I think is what her character name is.
I think so. Okay,
something like that.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Charlie.
I would flip that back and forth.
Yeah.
But played by Kelly
McGillis. That's right. Kelly McGillis.
What else is she famous in, you know?
Man, I can't remember. I had to look that up too, because she is one of the bigger actresses of that time.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's interesting is I think she was in her 40s when they filmed this.
Oh wow, looking good.
Yeah, definitely. And she plays a role that's probably 30s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, she was one of the actresses of the time that were. But I just can't name any other work right now.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't really pay attention to her too much.
Right.
Well, definitely get into my beef with her.
Let's do it. Yeah, we will.
But I guess that's, you kind of at this bar he like starts, which is so fucking corny. I'm gonna sing a song just so I can like talk to you or sit beside you and just chat or whatever. So fucking stupid.
And this scene really establishes and kind of I love the movie, of course, but it really establishes one of my primarily beefs, if I were to like really critique it, is they overact a lot.
Yes.
And maybe that goes with the whole 80s theme, but there's a lot of overreaction or overacting on different things.
You know what I took that for? Mm-hmm. I took that for like just like the snobbiest nature. I don't want to say all, because you're talking about just I don't want to say military.
Are you talking about like the cocky fighter pilot vibe?
Just
because that's
cocky like military people.
Oh, okay.
I think of that, and I think maybe that's how I took it.
Yes, that exists.
But definitely overacting as well. I'm sure that's a deadly combo for that.
Definitely. So definitely.
Very corny, but gets introduced.
It jams though.
Oh,
when they sing, "You lost that love and feeling," because she had lost it. Let's be honest.
Hey.
Where
did it go? That's the question. Was it there before?
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
No, but, when you're 40, I guess.
No. What are they?
Shit.
When
fucking jinxed myself.
Hey, when in Rome, do the Romans. You know what I'm saying? I don't think people say that.
Oh, Lord. So you learn that she is a civilian contractor.
Right, correct.
And she's, I guess, one of the judges for the school that they're in.
Yeah. So they say she has a PhD in astrophysics, which is kind of interesting. But
very.
Yeah. So she'll sit in with them in their debriefs and stuff and say, "Oh, you shouldn't have done this because of this," because she knows how a plane's going to fly through the air. She knows it by the books, and you'll kind of see Maverick kind of calls her out because he knows reality, whereas she just knows what's on paper. So that's her role.
That scene. I think that's an iconic scene. Right, because he makes the it's classified joke.
Yes, exactly.
I guess they were talking about a MiG going faster than it technically should.
Yeah, well, and they were talking about the specific maneuver. So they were talking about I think they say a negative, and I've watched all sorts of analysis on what they were talking about, and they kind of stretch reality. But basically, what they're getting at is the plane's doing a negative dive, and what happens when you go into a negative dive is you feel a negative G. So like you come out of your seat. Right. Well, that affects your fuel in your tanks, and so some planes are not designed to go inverted for very long, or the fuel won't get to the engine. So she's like, "Oh, it can't do that," and he's like, "Well, we saw one do it in the wild, and then that's how that plays out. That's exactly how it plays out."
He hits him with the it's classified.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, it was a back and forth. I imagine being like in a classroom again, like,
yes.
Ooh,
what you gonna do now?
Like, what is your retort, sir?
Yes, exactly.
So I guess from there they have they have a test and they don't do very well. I can't remember.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to let you take the lead on this.
Yeah,
one, I can't remember exactly.
So what they end up doing is so you have Mav and Goose. They're in a plane. They take off. You also have, I think with him, I think it was Hollywood and Wolfman.
Yes,
I think are together because I think it's Iceman and Slider, isn't it?
Well,
trying to remember the pairings.
Wolfman because he was wearing the cowboy hat, and that's the only reason.
No, I think that's Hollywood.
The one with the
okay, let's be honest, David. Some of them are very generic.
Yes,
it could be very interchangeable.
Yes.
So, anyways, these two white guys take off and go. But anyway, so Maverick and Goose go up, and they're flying against Jester, and then come to find out, last minute, Viper is also up there. So Maverick being
deadly combo.
Yes. So Maverick being the hotshot he is, wants to go after the lead teacher, Viper. So he leaves the cover of his wingman. He's supposed to stay with his wingman and cover his wing,
right?
Because in a pair, you're supposed to be stronger than if you're soloed out. So Viper takes him off, and or actually no, they might actually just be with Jester in this one because he chases Jester below the hard deck. Viper's not in the air yet.
Yep, that's
I
exactly
apologize,
what it is.
man. I failed. I guess I'll just go.
No,
I
mean, dude, they have.
I'll just show myself out.
They have a lot of tests, so it's definitely hard to pinpoint.
So
exactly
this
what
one
happened.
was with Jester. The hard deck they say is set at 10,000, and what a hard deck is saying at altitude 10,000, we're going to pretend that's the ground. So don't go below it. It's for safety for civilians, safety for them as well.
Right.
Well, Jester bugs out and dips below 10,000, which he shouldn't have because he's not following the rules either.
Right.
Well, Maverick chases him below the hard deck, gets in trouble. He gets the kill, but he doesn't follow the rules.
Right, yeah, he goes below that altitude range or whatever.
Exactly.
And which is odd. I didn't notice that Jester was the one to first dip under it. But I would be kind of upset. I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You dipped under too?
Exactly.
Well,
so
I'm the teacher.
Right, right.
That's exactly
and
the
then
excuse.
that's the scene right after that is when they do the flyby. And they get in trouble, and then that one guy gets mad and runs in and gets coffee and screams, "I want butts!"
Yeah,
which is an ongoing theme of this movie, which is kind of spicy.
Yeah, a little bit
of spice of.
Yeah, there a lot of quips, a lot of dirty quips.
Yes, thank you.
Innuendos, as
yes,
we would say.
And like I would say, out your windows. You know what I'm saying?
yes.
exactly.
And they get chewed out, slap on the wrist.
Yes,
don't do it again. You're gonna lose your ranks, and this kind of like puts the. I want to say fear of God in Goose, but it kind of like straightens him up, and he's like, do we need to like play by the rules?
Yes, and Goose becomes more grounded, and Pete Mitchell, Maverick, is still kind of on that fence of how do I push the envelope? I want to be the best of the best. Yeah, he's still there.
He's definitely wanted to. I think it's in this part of the movie that you kind of learn about his dad and that he was like a very respected fighter pilot before him and died in a classified mission that he doesn't even know about.
Right.
So I'm sure that's one hard for him because he doesn't know how his dad died, and then obviously following kind of in his footsteps.
Right. Exactly.
Kind of fucks with your head, and then you want to be the best, so I get his dilemma.
And it's kind of interesting that section of the movie about the dad, because I always understood it as, and I think that's how it is, but then like I was just thinking about it just now, and maybe I don't know it, but I think there's bad juju around his father. Like the story was that he didn't do the right thing and then it got covered up, and so later in the movie we find out he did do the right thing at the very end. So so I think
they said he had disappeared. Was the reasoning?
So I think people thought that he like turned and ran.
Yeah.
When in reality,
at least that thought was very fleeting whenever that part came up. But I was like, whatever. Like he crashed or whatever.
They breezed right through it real quick.
Sure did. And they did it for a reason because you kind of get into it a little bit deeper later. After this little portion, this is when we get the
iconic
volleyball scene.
Yes,
playing with the boys.
That's right. Again, back to the
volleyball in the jeans.
Back to the soundtrack being such a highlight of the whole thing. The soundtrack is just iconic for the time period, and apparently, I mean, it goes with the time period like blue jeans go with volleyball in the sand. It's just 1-to-1. It's 1-to-1, David. I mean, it's just what else? I mean, if I think about volleyball, I blue jeans,
of course,
and sand in every crevice of your body. I want sand, and I want it to be held there by blue jeans.
My groin region, dude, it's just covered.
I itch right now just thinking about it.
Yes,
but no, it's a great scene. It really, I mean, I don't know what they're trying to show us, but it does show us their physique. That the fact that fighter pilots are just shredded. Like, not only are their egos huge, but they're just jacked out of their minds.
Yeah, I'm sitting in this fighter pilot. Exactly. I'm still look good.
I still look awesome. Exactly.
I still got to fit in the cockpit.
Jeez. And of course, more sweat, which is also an ongoing theme of the entire movie.
There were so many times whenever there was a moment where he actually leading into it. He's leading on Charlotte or whatever, and they're playing, that back and forth game or
cat
and
mouse,
and mouse, exactly. Yes. So it's when he goes to her place for breakfast, I guess.
That's after the volleyball. Yes,
after the volleyball, because Goose was like, "Don't leave me."
Yeah, well, because they wanted to play another game.
Yeah,
and Goose is like, "Don't leave me here, Mav." He's like, "I got somewhere to be." Well, Mav's actually showing up late.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be at 5:30. It's got to be
like volleyballs with the boys,
with his bros. Yeah, it's got to be like an hour and a half or 2 hours later. It's like he's late. Exactly.
Yeah, because by the time he gets there, it's like almost sundown.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy. I guess in there, that's I forgot where I was going with that thought.
You were going to go with the sweaty.
Yes,
theme.
he asked to he gets there.
He goes to her house
and immediately asked to take a shower. He's
at her house, and he's never been to.
Yeah, I was like,
that's a move. Keep that repertoire.
Definitely a move.
Although it's 2021, you might get some allegations. But
me too.
Let's be smart. Let's be smart. But still, what a move.
And
she tells him no. By the way, she tells him no.
Definitely, I would definitely tell somebody no.
She's like, no, I'm starving.
I don't want you to look at my soap.
Or my bath towels. Man.
Yeah, right.
You want to see my groceries on the floor.
Callback. I love it. So throughout this whole movie, they just I don't know they didn't specify what state they were in, but it must have been Florida.
No. So it's Miramar, California. So that's
California.
Where. Yep, that's Fighter Town.
Yeah,
yep. That's out there on the West Coast.
Definitely sweating up a storm. It's probably those blue jeans that they wear.
Yes. And the fun fact though, so I watched some like I said, watched some stuff about that, and all the scenes where they're like below deck on the carrier, they're all sweating their balls off.
Yeah.
Which I don't think that it's actually like that on the ships, because their ventilation has to be out the butt.
Right.
Because you're
underwater.
Well, you're like five floors down in a ship in the center. Mm-hmm. You have to be, it's got to be pumped circulated air just to keep everybody alive on the insides of those so they overdo the sweating
machinery to keep cool. So I see the back and forth with it.
True. And this is modern day.
I don't know if that's just like a cliche with I never seen Hunt for Red October, but I heard that's kind of the same case.
True. That's
down
a good point.
The submarine
that's a good
or
point.
whatever.
That's a good point.
Sweating their balls off.
That's a good point. But yeah, that scene where he goes over to her house, it really shows that she's trying to get at him to get information about the MiG-28.
Ah, yes.
And also they talk about his dad, like you said. He kind of shows some softness with her, and she's like, well, this is going to be complicated. We're going to get into this apparently.
Yeah.
So that's where it really spices up the connection.
That's the line that was used. Then and at the end of the movie, it's complicated.
It's complicated.
Certainly Tom Cruise. 5'7" ass.
Fun.
So plays this cat and mouse game with her, and from there we get, I guess they have another test.
Yeah.
And this is
the bad one.
Yeah, this is where
this is the one with Viper.
Yes, he
what
flies in and helps Jester or whatever. And I think it was this time that they didn't fire when they were supposed to, or no, it was when he went off.
Yes,
left his wingman.
That's right.
Yes, and he got in trouble.
Yeah,
you can't leave your wingman.
And I think what happened. Yeah, so on this one, he's trailing behind Iceman, and Iceman won't get out of the way. And when Iceman finally gets out of the way, Mav flies through the jet wash. That's what happens.
No, that's the third one.
Is it?
That's the third one.
Oh, you're not.
The second one, I think.
Okay.
I think you're right. Iceman and Maverick, they're wingmen. And
no, you are right.
Then we have Jester because Iceman's going after Jester.
That's right.
And Viper pulls in.
That's
and he's
it.
like,
Yep.
Maverick sees him. He's like, shit, I got to go, and like fucking pulls off. And
you nailed it. You're right.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right.
Yeah, gets it. You know. You're not supposed to. I feel like maybe that's 101. Like it's like lifting a heavy object. You got to have two people.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, you don't have to.
Yeah, and then Jester ends up behind Maverick and shoots him down. Or in the game, right? He gets a missile lock. Is what they're talking about. Yeah, and so they lose.
I never thought about that before. I was wondering how they train each other, but I guess the missile lock that makes sense.
the tone. And so what happens is like if so in Mav's plane, it's got a certain radar that's listening for other things looking at itself. This is very layman's terms, of course, because I don't know all the technical like super technical stuff.
Right.
And it'll beep in his ear like, hey, like there's a missile coming kind of thing, or somebody's looking at us, shooting a radar at us,
getting lined up or whatever.
Exactly.
So I guess that really doesn't leave too much time because they go into another test.
They pretty much do. After this one, they show. I think it's the locker room scene. It's the shower scene after this one.
Yeah,
where Iceman comes in and he's like, he just like talks some shit as he's standing there in his towel, and they're all like, and then Bav's like, "Dang it, I messed up again." You know, like you saw he's like leaning over. He's like, "Dang it," you know. Yeah. And it's like real weird, of course.
It's a weird boys' locker room stuff.
Yeah,
like,
and Jester walks in and is like, that was some great flying right up until you got killed. You know, like get your shit together kind of stuff.
He's like, yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So,
and then, like you said, go ahead.
They have, just a confrontation. They just trade some words back and forth. So, you know, Val Kilmer in this movie, I just, doesn't say much. Looks like an ass. Val Kilmer he is somebody that like if you didn't know who he was and you just walked up on the street, that you would be like, oh yeah, that guy's an asshole.
Also, if this is the only Val Kilmer,
unapproachable.
If this is the only Val Kilmer movie you've ever seen, you probably be like, I can't stand the guy because of course he plays a great Doc Holliday in Tombstone. Which is wild that's him. That is, that's insane. But he's in like all the different. I hate to use the term, but. All the different times where he like does like the air bite at Tom Cruise, or he's like, he's just being weird. He's just they're trying to intimidate each other, and they're doing the weirdest things,
the creepiest things
to do it, man.
Like getting like a centimeter away from their faces. Like
now, Kith, like come on, like shoot, man, like whatever.
Leading all throughout the movie, I was like. From the moment of the orientation or whatever, they were just
honestly, it just feels like Val. I almost said Doc Holliday, wrong. It feels like Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise are like, wait, who can overact the best? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, Kazansky, like,
right. I was thinking the movie that I've seen latest with Val Kilmer in it is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
I've never seen that one.
It's not a bad one. It's with Robert Downey Jr. and him.
Oh.
It's like a murder mystery.
Okay.
Good movie. If you haven't seen it, it's great.
What is the last Val Kilmer movie that's been out? Because I don't know if he's been in one in a while, and I'm pretty sure he let himself go.
Oh yeah. He definitely has let himself go. Does not look the greatest.
No, and I think didn't he have a ponytail for a little while? And it's like everything.
Like Steven Seagal. That's instantly popped in my mind.
Like everything he was in Top Gun, he is the antithesis of that today. Okay, poor guy. I think he had some health issues, but whatever. He might have done it
probably because we're giving him all this shit. I mean, it's not just us.
No, you're right. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. Yeah.
Nonetheless, so this is when we get into the next test.
Yes, I teased it too hard earlier.
This is the one that was a little bit more serious. The third one. We set up the scenario. I think Viper's out of there, the leading, pilot. I don't think he's in that one. I think it's Jester, Iceman, Maverick, and then some other third person.
Don't really cover that, yeah.
Wolfman or whatever, Hollywood. I don't know.
Some other Joe Blow.
Yeah, exactly. That's my call sign, Joe Blow.
That's a great one. Is your name Joe? Is your name Joe? No, it's David. Meet me in the washroom.
Meet me in the washroom.
Yeah, I'll vote for you. 2024.
So, I don't really know what leads up to it. I think we had to pause the movie because you had to explain it to me.
Oh, sure.
They had what was called, there was two terms, I think. It was a dead spin and then a jet wash. And I had to ask you about, I know dead spin, it kind of explains itself. You're just spinning uncontrollably.
Right.
A very level pace, and you can't dip the nose down.
Right. So it basically just pulls in a couple of like the really fundamental terms of flight, right? So the flight.
Explain to the audience what jet wash means.
Well, I'll try. I'm such a visual person, so if you're listening at home, my hands are moving. But,
what do we do with my hands?
Yeah, exactly. But so jet wash, and of course they briefly touch on it in the movie also. So in the F-14 Tomcat, and of course people out there, I don't have a degree in this, but they're an F-14 Tomcat. It's got 2 engines. It's a dual engine plane. So they're flying really close and under and behind Iceman as their wing, as their cover. So Maverick's so you have the bad guy. Well, it's their teacher. Then you have Iceman in the second plane. Third plane is Mav. So the third plane has a better shot at the first plane, and they want to get Iceman to move out of the way.
Iceman's in the middle.
Correct. And Iceman just keeps holding, and then finally pulls off. And when he does, the nozzles out of his plane end up jet washing the front of Mav's plane. And so what jet wash is, it's basically what you see coming out the back of a plane out of the jet. And some of the shots you'll see that it's like that
afterburn.
Yeah, well, it's like even like out of when a truck goes by and you look at the exhaust, it's got the fumes in the air is weird.
Right.
It's like that coming out of the back of a jet. Well, that got sucked into I think they said starboard engine, which is like exactly for the engine. So it's basically like me breathing into your mouth, and you're like, that's not oxygen. that's not good. And then you die, and then you die.
That is a great way of explaining it.
It's the best way to put it. It's the best way to put it. And so the Mavs plane ingests that engine goes out. It has a flame out. And I was telling David that the first iterations of the F-14, of course, they come out in different variants, right? So the A's and B's, I think is what it was, had a problem with flame outs. And it's good that they have 2 engines because they can limp home with 1 engine.
Right.
But what happens in that scenario, they're going so fast and it flames out 1 engine that I think the power on the left side overcompensates and sends it into that spin.
Oh.
And so the plane goes into, if you just hold if you have a piece of paper and you just let it go, that's what the plane's doing, right? Yeah. So the plane needs to be going
falling.
Correct. The plane needs to be going forward for air to go over the wings to create lift.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you said, you can dip the nose down.
You can recover.
You can glide out of
correct.
it.
If you're correct. If you're high enough and you can get the control surfaces to respond, you could get it to react. Yeah.
Well, I've seen that in a lot of movies where they go into it like I know it as dead spin.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or did I say that? No.
Yeah, dead spin or stall. You can stall out. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So,
luckily, the ones I'm learning in are going to be very easy to recover. Basically.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear.
Exactly. If you get the nose down, because your instructor will put you into a forced stall.
Oh, really?
To teach you how to get out of it.
Hey,
fun times.
Hey, fun stress.
Fun fact: need new pants.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Adrenaline.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Man.
Oh, Lord. And, because of this, there's no saving it at this moment. Even Iceman's concerned and the instructor or whatever. And they had to pull the chute or whatever. There was a moment in that brief window where they were struggling. Goose was struggling to grab the ejector things because it was just spinning out of control, that G-force or whatever.
Correct.
And, eventually pulls it, but, comparatively with Tom Cruise is a very short man, but Goose is taller. And, he actually hits his head as as the shield of the jet pops open, their chairs eject as well, but he hits his head on the top.
And and I don't know if that's because he is tall or if there's a timing thing.
Yeah.
No, because and they don't really specify it, but a lot of times, it is harder for taller pilots for sure, right? Like there's a certain amount of window that you need to fit in to be able to safely get out of the plane.
Right.
And I don't know, because when he pulls it, you do hear Maverick say, "Watch the canopy," and then he hits the canopy. So I don't know if procedurally he was supposed to pull things in order, or
so
if
he
it's
just
one
pushed
pull.
It a little
I
bit
just
too
don't know.
fast,
I just don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
And I guess we really didn't talk about Goose too much in depth, but just like he dies from this.
Yeah, snaps his neck, I think.
One of the, there's that whole fallout. They fall into the ocean, that they die, and they come pick him up or whatever. But he gets informed by Viper that Viper informs Maverick that Goose has passed away or whatever. And, Goose's thing, he was, after that first incident, he was like, he wants to... The theme that started, I guess, was Cougar at the beginning of the movie, because he was looking at, his the picture of his family, and I don't know if that rubbed off on him at all, but he did also have a family, and after that first, not botched test, or they fell below that ceiling, or I don't remember.
And his wife is Meg Ryan, the lovely, beautiful Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan, you were gushing about her, and I was I went back through IMDb, and I was like, oof, she was in quite a lot.
Yeah, she was. She was America's sweetheart. Like she was kind of like the Sandra Bullock before Sandra Bullock kind of thing. That's kind of the vibe she had back in the day.
I like that. Definitely an '80s icon
for sure. For sure.
But I personally didn't know her too much, but definitely I was like, once I saw the hair, I was like,
oh yeah,
I know you.
Oh yeah,
I know you.
Oh yeah.
And Goose is concerned about losing his family.
Exactly.
And turns out that, his concerns were in place. I think he makes a comment somewhere in the middle of the movie that he doesn't want to make his wife and daughter
wife and son, orphan his son, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. So,
exactly.
Doesn't want a widow, and eventually, happens. So that was a through line throughout the whole movie, and I thought that was interesting. That I did not think, before starting this movie, I thought it was I heard Maverick and Goose, and I'm like, oh, it's like a buddy cop movie, but in the air.
That's I've never heard it put like that.
I thought he was going to make it all the way through the end of the movie, and that, not the case, not the case.
Yeah.
So,
and it's kind of, it's funny that the more you watch a movie, the more you pick up on things. And even if you've heard it the first time, it may not resonate a certain way. So at one point, Maverick goes, he was my, I think they call it ROI. REO, and
REO Speedway.
RIO. It's like rear intelligence officer. That's what the and it's changed through history. They've had different names.
The person in the back,
correct. But anyways, he was my responsibility, and the reason for that is, the guy in the back can't control the plane,
right?
And so he's his responsibility. Like if Mav can't fly the plane right, they're both screwed. And so
essentially he is a baby. You've seen those
the Bjorgen or whatever it's called,
wearing the front backpack for the child or whatever. He's just in the back.
Did they have a weird Swedish IKEA name for that, a baby Bjorgen or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Ding it, whatever. Yeah,
I like the image of
Goose,
a Maverick, a poker player. Have you ever seen Maverick? That old
it's a Western, right?
Yeah. My dad used to watch it a lot, and every time I hear Maverick, I think of a poker. I'm thinking of a poker player, and then one of those things, and he has
Goose is in it.
It's a great visual.
It's a great visual. Heck yeah, dude. But yeah, so Mav kind of bites the dust on that one, and it really messes up Maverick, naturally so, and of course.
Feels responsible for it, and then I think that's coupled with his dad.
Yes, absolutely.
Away,
and it kind of makes everything really real for him again. And even though the board of investigation for the Navy says, "Hey, none of this is your fault," based on all the facts and everything. Hey, you're not to blame. Of course, he's going to carry all of it, right? He feels totally to blame, and Tom Skerritt that plays Viper is just immediately, hey, get him back in the air. We got to get him back in the saddle, get him back on the bike. He needs needs to be back out there, he's gonna lose his edge. So they try.
That's one thing I didn't notice in that part of the movie is where I said, "Oh, you're not riding your bike today." And I think that was right before he went to graduation or whatever.
Yeah, so he wasn't on his bike when Charlie took him to kind of take care of Goose's things at their apartment. I think that's when he wasn't on the bike, and you pointed that out. Exactly.
Yeah, that was odd. Yeah. I guess he just wasn't in the.
He was not himself.
Headspace,
definitely,
to go fast on his motorbike.
Definitely.
There's a part of the beginning of the movie where he looked like he was trying to race the jet, and I'm like,
right,
okay, my guy.
And I almost think that Tom Cruise. So of course, Tom Cruise and motorcycles are kind of connected. And I want to say it's because of Top Gun that he learned to ride a motorcycle.
Really?
I want to say it was Top Gun because, of course, if you look at Mission Impossible, there's a motorcycle.
He does all of the stunts.
Yeah, there's a motorcycle in every Mission Impossible.
Oh,
pretty much.
I've actually never seen that.
I saw that it's on your list. Go watch them. They're enjoyable.
There's 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah, don't watch them together, but
all at one time.
Yeah, you're like, man, I'm in this. This is
too much Tom Cruise coming at me.
Mission Impossible is watching all of Mission Impossible. That was their goal all along. I think they made another one. I thought.
Really?
I think they're.
So many.
Did you ever hear the audio recording of him griping at all of his staff about COVID? I think they're filming Mission Impossible. I did.
That was really fucked up. I remember. I only remember him and Simon Pegg in that movie. Or
I forgot Simon Pegg was it. Wait, he died. Spoiler alert. No, he's fine. He goes on.
Goose lives throughout the movie.
He goes on to be in Hot Fuzz. It's fine. It's cool. It's fine. Lord. Anyways, I digress.
Yikes. Anyway, killer, man. You're making me laugh.
On fire.
So yeah, I guess that's when I guess maybe for his sanity's sake, Viper, he notices this commendable fighter pilot or whatever who was in that orientation. He flew with his dad and he invited him over and he kind of spills the beans on his dad. He's like, it's classified, but and then gives the spiel. I think that he was saying that it was just fucking hell. There were like a whole bunch of he described it as being fireflies everywhere or whatever, and he was doing fine. He was about to pull out, but then went back and saved like 3 people.
And it kind of relates back to when they are getting introduced to the flight school, the Top Gun school. They're talking about in Korea the kill to death ratio of fighter pilots was like 16 or 18 to 1, which is really good. It's like we're going to kill 18 of them before one of us gets killed, which is great. It went to half of that or less in Vietnam because we had more advanced systems, but they were still using older planes and were able to get in closer and tighter and shoot us down with guns and different things like that. We didn't have gun pods on our planes. On the F4 Phantoms, the machine gun was an afterthought.
I have always thought about that, just about those general, because you always see them you see the crop dusters who have the thing in the back, and you get the machine gun or whatever. I don't. Just rotates 360 or whatever. Correct. And then I've thought about on the jets because I knew that they had machine guns, some can, but I like I said, it's like just missiles.
Right. So World War I, World War II, the primary is the machine gun. Even into some of Korea was the machine gun. They started having rockets at the end of World War II that were unguided. They started working on guided rockets that led to the modern day missiles. When the missiles took over in Vietnam, they were like, oh, all we need is missiles. We're just going to load this up with missiles. We don't need machine guns. Well, then they were like, oh crap, we actually need machine guns. And so that was an afterthought. The F4 Phantom was a beast, could go super, super fast, wasn't the most agile in the sky though. So they were getting outmaneuvered. And so I think from that kind of establishes the point that there's a relation to Vietnam. And then at one more point before Maverick goes and talks with Viper, Viper mentions being in Vietnam. And then we see Maverick go talk to him like, hey, you knew my dad, and he's like, yeah, I did, and then that goes into the whole
spiel.
Exactly.
Yeah, he like saves 3 people or whatever.
Yeah,
and Evans, I don't.
He's like wounded. His plane's going down, and somehow he stays in the fight and shoots down a couple of other people, or chases people off of being chased.
Yeah. So pretty sad. I put in here that it was not the story about his dad. The way they were leading up to explaining what had happened.
Right.
For what we got, it was very uneventful.
Yeah, it was.
It really was. Of lead up, and I was just like, not worth the payoff. I mean, it's nice for Tom Cruise to get his resolution, but where's mine?
It's kind of interesting that you bring that up. You just made me think of something really interesting. Is like the style of this movie and the year that it was made is done a certain way. I feel like if they would have made this in 2020, they would have had so many different flashbacks. They would inject a scene of his dad going down. If it was done modern day.
Right.
But now I'm kind of like challenging myself, would that have been necessary? I don't know. It's kind of an interesting thought to think about how it would be done today versus back then.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that would be useful in this movie.
Maybe so.
One, I feel like the Tom Cruise and his dad connection, doesn't, there's a spark there.
True.
But it's not explosive.
Right.
With how, I don't know, like a revelation for him to get over Goose or whatever and get back into it.
Right, like peace of mind kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
So I think maybe that would have definitely helped the movie.
Yeah.
But, from there, he gets the courage he's in the airport and Charlie comes and tries to intervene or whatever. They have a little conversation, but...
Yeah, because Maverick wants to leave. He wants to quit.
Yeah. He has the points to graduate. Mm-hmm. He just doesn't want to.
Yep.
I guess he mentions like self-confidence thing and then something about the dad or something like that. And I was like, bro, I get the self-confidence thing. So, but he works with the courage and he graduates. Yep. And literally, as they're like in the reception, they were like, "Oh, Viper, Jester, the instructor's like, oh, here's your orders.
Yeah,
you got to go.
Exactly.
Some of you got to leave this party
now. It's kind of like going to your graduation for college, and you don't get to go celebrate. They're like, all right, well, you got to go to work right now. Like,
hit the books.
You got to go to work. Like, it's the worst.
Yeah. So. And this is when it gets into the real, scenario. And I feel like it was kind of appropriate from like the beginning of the movie. They've been talking about these MiGs throughout the whole movie and how they're not that they're superior machines. It's just that they're, they have capabilities.
They've never been dealt with yet, really.
Exactly.
And I've been saving this fun fact for you.
Oh, yes.
This is if this was a segment on the show, it'd be the aviation fun fact.
Oh, okay.
The nerd fact. So the MiG-28 that does not exist. That's not a real plane.
Really?
So
they make it up for the movie?
Yes. So that plane being used, it could be one of two different things because it's the same platform but use different names depending on the role it's in. So it's a Northrop Grumman. It's either a T-38 Talon, which is a trainer plane, or it's an F-5 Tiger. I think they're probably the Tigers. You'll see in the movie that they have the single seat and the double seat. The 2-seat variants there, but all that is an American plane painted black with a red star on it. And so there's no such thing as a MiG-28. MiG is real. That is a real Russian manufacturer of planes. They have the MiG-29, MiG-27, MiG-31.
I was about to say, do they pull an iPhone where they skip a number?
Right. No. So they do have real MiGs. They also
they go 27, 29.
Yeah. Windows 7, Windows
Vista.
10. The next iPhone's 3 feet long, but no. So like it's not a real plane, and it's very interesting because of course growing up I always was like, oh, it's a MiG, whatever, and then I just was like, wait,
it's like an epiphany.
I was like, that looks like an F5, and it's like, oh, it is an F5. They repainted for this movie.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a small plane. It's capable of supersonic, which is going over Mach 1, which so is the Tomcat, but it was just interesting that they used a smaller plane. So yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I would not have known that.
Editor, put in the theme song there for
Editor's me.
I know.
But it's
Put it like send in the clowns. That'll work.
Yes. Right. And I guess in this scenario, they're going up against what it started off as 2, then it went to 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, it's like up to 6.
They just, I guess they were like stacked on top of one another for the radar.
Flying, exactly. When they're flying close enough together, they can appear as one blip on the radar. Exactly.
So, they get into this. It's Iceman and Maverick.
Yep.
At it again.
Well, and then one of them goes down. Remember, I always forget the two
of them go down.
Well. Good guys go down. Only one good.
Oh, you're right.
Hollywood and whichever two guys are paired together.
The one with the cowboy hat.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that's Wolfman. If I'm gonna have to look that up.
But is he with Hollywood though?
Yes.
That's okay. They are the pair. Then that's what it is. Yep. And they go down. So they get shot by the machine guns, and they actually get a rocket to the butt.
Yeah, they get a rocket to the butt, and then they had to eject.
That's right. Okay. They live.
Spoiler alert.
Live.
But
if you're listening and watching,
taxpayers, that's $33
million.
Oh, 33.
30 something. Inflation. The movie's pretty long, like you said.
It was made in 86.
That's true. Thanks, Reagan. So what?
What were we talking about? Oh, Top Gun, right? I
said thanks, Reagan.
Yeah. So yeah, just it's like 6 against 2 at that moment.
And Mav shows up.
He was late. He was late. To show up.
Yep.
Late to show up just to see where to
the graduation.
And to Charlie's
shower and to
Charlie's shower. Breakfast in a shower.
No, and so it's interesting because they send up. It's okay. So the scenario, just for those listening, and maybe you already understand it, but there's a boat in the water that needs help. The Americans are going to save the day. They send in the air support, which is the guys we're talking about. Yep. They go in. They get the direct order. If you get fired on it, you can fire back. That's usually what the orders are. And so they put 2 planes in the air. They put Maverick on the catapult, ready to go. He's the Alert 5 aircraft. And so they use that as a way to say, if the situation gets worse enough, we're going to send another plane. So one of ours goes down. We're like, we got to get Mav up there. So he shows up, like you said, late to the party, late to the dance, not wearing the right dress. Right. It's just it's a crap
definitely.
Shoot.
And he pulls every single trick out of the book that he fucked up in the tests.
And he also
each one of the tests he uses in that scenario. I didn't realize
that. He also pulls a cougar though.
Which one's that?
He wants to bug out for a second.
Oh yeah, he does.
Gets locked in.
He does.
Oh, he goes into a little. He goes into
another jet wash. Yeah, and he saves it.
I never realized how much that wraps up all the different things. You just pointed that out to me, and I've been watching this for 10 years.
Oh, all the tests.
Yes.
Yeah, culminating.
Yes.
Like, he's definitely below that little base or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a real life scenario. There is no base, son.
That's right. Yeah, hard deck.
But ends up saving Iceman. He doesn't take down all of them.
No, I think
he
Iceman
takes
gets
down 2 or 3.
Yeah, Iceman gets a couple, and then Maverick gets 2 or 3, and then a couple bug out. So bugging out, they just fly home. It's just like, hey, we're getting the F out of here.
Get the hell out of here. Yeah.
Right.
And so they land, and it's all peaches and cream.
Yeah, the 2 guys get rescued out of the water. They get brought back in, and I don't know if there's always that much celebration when the planes come back. I mean, I think they overhype that.
Oh, certainly.
I mean, they're having a parade on the flight deck, and there's other planes that need to come in. Like, those are not the only 2.
I'm sure that was a very routine thing to do. Like, what? Yay, another one, guys.
Yes, exactly.
Slap hands, slap butts.
They have cargo planes flying in and out of there every hour. Like, there's always something on that deck flying around. So I don't think they would stop and do a celebratory thing.
Yeah.
But
it's a little dangerous.
Yeah, but that scene ends with like one of the most iconic things ever, where they have where Iceman and Maverick have a little bit of a bro down.
Oh yeah. Tom Cruise hops out the jet, starts smacking butts and high fiving,
and popping towels.
I was thinking that same thing. And he sees Val Kilmer and Iceman Kaczynski. Straight face, and he's like,
So Iceman goes, "You're still dangerous, but you could be my wingman anytime." And then Maverick goes, "Bullshit, you could be mine." And then they hug. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
I think they adopted a Southeast Asian, and I think they lived happily ever after.
Ending Top Gun. Good movie.
That's terrible. I think I'm gonna write parody movies now. But what happens after? What happens after that?
Not much, actually. There's he kind of cements it. He goes to he becomes a teacher from the Top Gun. He's such a good, which is weird. He goes into the academy, and then as he leaves the academy, he goes back into the academy to be a teacher.
He's out for one mission.
You think he would? Yeah, he's out for one mission. Exactly. He's like, this man is immaculate.
I'm hanging it up.
Viper, count your stars. Get out of here. I'm the resident.
It's like Tom Brady if he would have retired, but he didn't.
I hate Tom Brady.
Oh, we'll get into that on our sports podcast.
Okay. I could talk about Tom Brady for a long time.
So yeah, he's at the bar.
Maybe he was watching a Tom Brady game.
I don't know what year. I don't know. Tom Brady was like 4, but Tom Brady's dad sent him a VHS of a Pee Wee game. No, but so he's sitting there hanging out at the bar, and he looks like he's the only one in the bar. Maybe he's just a couple people over there. And then the camera goes to a coin going into the coin slot of a jukebox.
Jukebox, yeah.
And all of a sudden you hear, bodo, bodo. And it goes in. That was probably not even close to the right tone.
No, it was. I knew what you were getting.
It goes into the song that he sang, Charlie, at the bar at the first 20 minutes of the movie. And so he's like looking around like, is this a ghost? Like, is this a joke? Like, what's going on?
He walks over to the jukebox. He's like, did you start playing this?
He walks to the jukebox. He's like, man, this makes me think I really need a shower.
Right? He's probably sweating up a storm. Got to take a lot of showers.
But no, and then of course Charlie's there.
Yeah,
they talk.
It's complicated. It's complicated, certainly.
Yeah, and so of course, and they that scene's pretty nice. They do a couple things there that are homages to a few things that they talked about earlier, like you said, like
because
he's an instructor now. They're like, it's complicated.
Oh yeah, that is weird. I didn't notice that.
Right. So.
Hey, I mean, that's free game. Instructor.
They're both of age.
Hey.
It's whatever.
Well, I mean, she's 40. He's
of what age?
He's as tall as a junior high kid.
Hey, guys.
Talk about dirty dancing.
Oh, geez.
Dirty sky dance? No, I'm going to stop.
Dirty dancing? So that's kind of how the movie. That's how the movie wraps out, man.
Yeah, that's when the credits roll, and it's just kind of gives a blip of each character.
Oh, right.
And I think that's when I knew that Wolfman was Wolfman, because throughout the movie it was like had the dude with the cowboy hat. He was just there in the lecture with him, and then we get boom, cowboy hat.
Right.
Wolfman.
Right.
I know your name now, sir.
He also howls playing volleyball. I don't know if you caught that.
Oh,
that was
does,
Wolfman. That was Wolfman.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
That was right on the nose too. It was like, oh, clever, good job. Yes, the wolf guy. He howls.
I wonder whether you got that call sign.
What is Iceman? Is he real cold? Like,
what would your call sign be? Yeah.
Oh, that's such a great question. So I've been known a few different names though. So in March, I usually sport a mustache.
Oh,
because
is there any particular reason?
Because I can. Oh, mustache.
Riley.
No, because of the alliteration, Mustache March.
Oh, okay.
Also, there was a fighter pilot. I think he was Air Force. Forgot his name already. I'm sorry, but he wore a mustache, and in March they for a while they would do it in honor of him and maybe of like a foundation he started. But I found that out after the fact. But I just my grandfather growing up always had a mustache. My dad always had a mustache. I was like, one time a year I could do it, and it's so glorious and yet kind of gross, because mustaches for younger people are kind of douchey and gross. Yeah. But I do it anyways to see how many people I can get in on it, because it's just for fun.
Yeah.
So that being said, one of my friends at the gym will call me the Red Stallion.
Oh, okay, that's a good one.
I don't know if it's good, but it's one.
Makes me think of that one gas station. I've tried.
What gas stations are you going to? Are you sure it was a gas station?
Yeah, right. Was it even a gas station? I have no clue. I just saw unicorns everywhere.
Red Stallion.
No, I think of the TriStar, like the production company, TriStar.
Oh.
And then there's, I can't remember, for the life of me, I cannot remember, but it's like a circle and there's a Pegasus in the middle.
It's not Sunoco. It's I can
what I'm
see
talking
it in
about
my
now.
head. Mm-hmm. Yes, I can. Yes.
Nonetheless.
I can't remember what it is.
I don't even know where we were going with that.
We were talking call sign. What would your call sign be?
What would my call sign be? That's a good one.
I don't think
Red Stallion's a good one.
I don't know if that's good. Let's be honest.
Red Stallion.
That's pretty adult industry. That's pretty adult industry in the 70s.
I was about to say red, but then you're technically ginger.
Yeah, auburn
Half and
red.
half,
yeah. It depends on who's
mistaken.
asking.
Yeah. Oh.
Are you into it? Then hell yeah, I am.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Red would be a good one.
Yeah. Oh, just red. Well, back in high school, Big Red.
Big Red. Yeah, that's a good one.
That wasn't even that big.
No, not really.
Assholes.
I know, right? Same. I got some of it.
Oh, jeez. What would yours be then? This is a great question for a Top Gun.
I had a great one in school too. Wawa growing up.
Wawa, because your last name.
Yeah, Waters.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Didn't we call you something else? I don't know. I've probably made every iteration of your name. Big D,
D Wade,
Davey,
yeah,
D Watt,
D Watt,
do what? No, I don't know. I mean,
Wawa's a good one. Let me go down to the Wawa.
Wawa.
That's the
Wawa,
New York gas stations.
The Wawa West. Are we gonna watch that next?
Oh, with Will Smith. I have seen that one. That one's it's not good, but it's not bad.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, he goes good. That was a good movie.
It's another roller coaster one where you're along for the ride.
Yeah.
It's Wild West, but it's not really the Wild West.
True.
It's the future.
Oh, man.
Oh, Lordy.
So, yeah, that rounds out the movie, man.
Yeah, rounds out the movie. Riley, since we're done with that, let's go ahead and move into our likes.
Definitely.
What do you... I'm going to let you go first.
Yeah, so I think you have a few. So mine would definitely be aviation. I mean, that's a huge thing. I think that's a big part of it. Servitude is kind of an underlying tone. I do think that, so the production company went and got all realistic things. Like, none of this is fake. Those are all real helmets. These guys got flight time. So some of the scenes of Cruise in the cockpit is him actually riding in one of the planes. Some of it is on the set.
Right.
They did get to go for rides and pull G's.
There was, while the movie was wrapping up, the credits were rolling. Nice soundtrack to, which is one of my likes, definitely.
Yeah.
You went to go, I don't know what to do, but I was sitting here looking, and it lists in the credits the
real pilots,
the real pilots that helped them out.
Yes, and so I think the government signed off on it because they knew it was going to be a good publicity thing. They even set up sign up booths at some of the theaters.
Did they really?
They did. And they said after the movie came out, they had their record breaking a number of people signing up to try to be pilots for Navy or Air Force and stuff like that.
So audience, I think I'm gonna have to tell you this is the last podcast. After watching Top Gun, I have to be a fighter pilot.
You're going to go in. I think you should do it,
Goodbye.
man.
Goodbye.
I'll see you next time.
Yeah, right.
No, so that's one of the big ones. Of course, the music is just fantastic. Every now and then, I'll be listening to classic rock, and something of this genre comes on. I'm just like, ooh, yeah,
in the 80s hit. Yeah.
Like Owner of a Lonely Heart came on.
That's a great song.
Oh, doo 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 boom. Like, it had kind of like a funky bass line to it and stuff. But so yeah, music's great.
Yeah, there's it's a very cliche. The Take My Breath Away.
Oh, by Berlin. Yeah, and you pointed it out. I did not realize that it plays 5 times in a row.
Yeah,
within 30 minutes, probably maybe 35.
No,
minutes.
dude, it was 10 minutes.
Dude,
in the matter of 10 minutes, it played 3 or 4 times.
And you know what's funny is they don't actually get into the lyrics until
when they start to. This is when the silhouettes start to have sex.
They go, yes.
They do the sex, yes.
They do the bump, you know, and so, but yeah, those are probably the top things for that. I
made a crack wise joke during that, because, I mean, dude, it was definitely noticeable in those 10 minutes, why stop playing the intro to the song?
Yes. And it's kind of a tease, because it's,
it's
teasing just like they are, exactly.
But they also play Danger Zone 5 times.
That's true.
And then I think there's some other one
there's no other Danger Zone than that one, you know
right?
What I'm saying?
And so I was I made that crack-wise joke of I think the soundtrack may only have 3 or 4 tracks.
Yeah. Mighty Wings is on there.
Oh, I see.
Come on.
Mighty Wings.
That's a great song.
I was making it Mighty Boss Tones joke.
I don't think I get it.
It's a ska band. It's a ska band.
Keep it up. Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Keep it up. Yeah. We're going to start skanking in here. I know a thing or two.
Your apartment's going to smell. We're going to need a shower.
No, I haven't had one of those in a while. No, but I'm a Renaissance man. I know a thing or two about ska. I'm a real big fish, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, that's a good one. It was forced, but I liked it. Nobody else is here.
That's fine. It's just nobody's listening to this.
Other than that, I think the other thing that I really enjoyed is
what did you like?
The Character of Goose.
It
started off as the quick quips. I like the
definitely.
it's like, fuck you, Val Kilmer, or whatever the fuck. He like flips somebody off like in the middle of it. And he provided that needed relief at the beginning of the movie, and I was just like,
well, and he doesn't take himself overly serious.
Oh, he does not overact.
Yeah,
he definitely is the one that doesn't overact.
And it's kind of like the jocks with, and I can kind of identify with this. Mm-hmm. So the fighter pilots are all the jocks.
Yeah.
And Anthony Edwards, which is Goose, is kind of the jock that also has other aspirations. So, like, let's say a guy in high school that plays football and is in the band, like me.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
See, you fit in both, but you're not all the way in either.
Yeah.
That's what Goose is. Wow, I never made that connection.
You did play that line.
Wow, that's kind of crazy.
It's a nice parallel. Yeah.
We should do this more often. I'm learning about myself.
Right. Ooh.
So yeah, Goose is great. Goose is
for
great.
the good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Goose. I just liked his the family.
Right.
Story aspect of him. Like, I was just like, ooh. And then when he died, I was like, oof. Because I was not expecting his death.
Tough.
I was just like, oof. Okay. Yeah. He did orphan his family. Shit.
It's tough. And
he did not. Well,
he didn't mean to.
Right.
It's not like he hopped a train or nothing.
Right. Exactly. Jumped in front.
But.
So, yeah, I really enjoyed his character. Way more than Tom Cruise, I think. Riley, I like a lot. But I also dislike a lot.
No, I respect that.
What do you dislike about this movie?
So, of course, I've watched it so many times, and so I do have like a biased love for it. But it can be kind of long depending on what kind of mood you're in. Like if you're in a mood and you're watching it with like a fellow aviation nerd, it's like, oh, like this is great. But if you're like, I'm gonna like digest this in a different way, it does kind of drag. And I think the other piece would be the overacting. Like we kind of mentioned earlier. And I think the third thing is there's actually quite a bit of inaccuracies in the movie.
Right. With the MiG 28.
Yeah, and just little details. So like they do a lot of things really well, but like in one of the scenes he says, okay, I'm going to pump the brakes and let him fly right by or something like that. The way he does his throttle is incorrect. He pushes the wrong.
He pulls up. And
he does it weird. He does it weird. So like forward is full thrust, back is no thrust. Well, in the movie, a couple times it's opposite of what they say. So like they could have done correctly. But
yeah, I'm sure.
And then of course the F-14 flying over the MiG. In the shot,
the very beginning.
Yes, in the shot when the cockpits are in view together.
Yep.
The Tomcat tails are like 13 feet tall or something really tall. It would be stabbing into the other plane, right? So that's not real.
Yeah, I was about to say.
There's some inaccuracies.
During that part, I noticed that that's definitely a green
It's pretty
screen.
comical. Yeah, exactly. But other than that, yeah, I mean, what about you?
I have to agree with you on the length of the movie. That I came because it's Top Gun, it's something that's
a well-known name.
Yeah, exactly. It's a blockbuster. Everybody really knows about it. And I came in for like, it's funny. You mentioned you like roller coasters. I came for a roller coaster ride with this.
Right.
And
it's not quite that,
it was kind of like halfway through the movie that I knew that I was like, this isn't like that kind of movie. Right. It's not like a...
it's not a big deep thinker.
Yeah. I can't remember what movie it was, but I think we were talking about a few earlier where it's just like
Tenet.
Tenet. I had to think a lot in Tenet.
I need to go finish it.
Yeah, but like I can literally just not think in the movie, and it just kind of leads me. I don't have to.
Oh, we were talking about the King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yes,
that was one of the examples
exactly.
we used. Where you just go and you enjoy
we were eating
it.
Tortas and French fries, and I was saying
I want another one already
with the right. Oh. Jalapenos, I love them. But King Kong versus Godzilla, that's exactly the thing. Like you jump in and they. Two animals are fighting one another, very Michael Vick-ish, but but yeah, no, Top Gun definitely not that. Right. I had to. They throw a lot of themes in there, like I'd say like a handful of them, and kind of filter them throughout. But it's not that. Maybe the adrenaline junkie part of it. This is what keeps it going. Tom Cruise is having a good time. His adrenaline's pumping.
Definitely.
But yeah, not. It wasn't the movie I was expecting in that fashion. Right. I thought it was going to be really blockbustery-ish, I guess.
And of course, if we were alive in '86 and watching this, we may feel different.
May feel different, definitely. I'm sure the hype thing was also a thing back then.
True. So. And I feel like they don't use a whole lot of... Okay, so they don't use much, if all at all, CGI. They do use tricks and some green, maybe some backgrounds.
Yeah,
but
whenever they're flying.
That's
where they're upside down.
The shaky cam.
Yes,
all the shaky cams for sure. They're just stationary, but I mean, it holds up really well because all of the flying scenes of the planes are real recordings of the planes flying around, so that helps a lot. None of the plane, like the actual shots of the plane flying around, all those are real.
Oh yeah, no, and they look at that whole. I mean, that was probably 50% of the movie was the shots like that, and they look great. They
exactly,
look awesome. You know, one other thing, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but you know, other than Goose, Maverick, Iceman's dude who is in his plane, he's not even.
We don't even know. We don't remember what his name is.
My problem is that all of those other pilots, you can take them and leave them.
Yeah, they're very vanilla, and
you can interchange them.
Exactly.
Maybe Wolfman had to stand out because he
plays volleyball.
Wearing the cowboy hat, I feel that's how they had to distinguish him. I think one of them in the movie, I think it was during the reception to their graduation, had called Viper to have him talk with what's his Maverick.
Well, you talking about the one that picks up the phone calls? I think he's calling Charlie. Or is he? No, or is he calling Viper?
I think he called Viper because that's the scene that...
it's very interesting you say that because the scene right after that, Charlie shows up. It's not Viper. He goes to Viper's house after that.
Oh, that is true.
But I've never picked up on that.
Did she go to the reception?
No, she goes to... He's at the airport, and she shows up, and he's drinking water. And she's like, you don't even have a ticket out of here, do you? Like, you're not even... Like, you're just here at a bar. Yeah.
That part gets a little fuzzy.
It does. The chronological of that is kind of weird. But no, that's a good point. It's a good point.
So yeah, I like Wolfman. I like that call sign, but like every single other one of them.
Well, and they have Sundown, and it's like,
you pointed that one out. That was kind of fucked up. What was the actor's name? He said,
I don't even know what the actor's name is.
I want to say Martin Starr.
That name sounds.
We can.
That name sounds familiar. Of course, he's not going to be very high on the list because. He was kind of just a filler because he was.
Oh, here we go. Clarence Gilliard.
Yep,
he's famous in Die Hard.
Oh, never saw it. I haven't seen any of the Die Hards, by the way.
Yeah, me either.
He's in Left Behind. Throwback to our conversation from earlier.
Oh Lord.
But no. So Sundown fills in when Goose dies and Maverick tries to get back out there and I almost said Sundance. Sundown gets back out there and is challenging Maverick to engage. But it's just kind of an interesting.
It's really pick and choose with them because some of them they Sundown had. You said 5 minutes of screen time, and then Wolfman had. A part or two or whatever. Just they were there to get shot down or whatever.
Exactly.
But yeah, so my last is like I feel like this is going just railing on the movie. I don't like it. But the other thing is that just that snobby nature
culture.
Yeah. I just I'm not a fan of it.
Sure.
I don't like the.
It's not necessarily the most inclusive.
Exactly. Exactly, and that's. I felt that before, so I was just like,
no, absolutely.
It's different. It changes.
It's the huge egos. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm flying a $30 million plane, twice the speed of sound. Right. I'm just hauling ass trying to. Do,
I'm better than you.
They're honestly fighter pilots are at the height of like their testosterone. Like, I mean, think about it, their early 20s, mid 20s.
Going that fast, I'm sure the body just naturally produces those.
Well, that and just male anatomy, that more so
locker room.
Thank you. Exactly. Yeah,
you need to take a shower.
Oh, I need to take a shower after watching that.
Yeah, exactly. So, Riley, was there anything else you wanted to bring up that we didn't talk about?
Not too much. We talked about a couple of trivia things here in a minute. We'll talk about those. But there's a lot of little homages in the movie that are really neat that you pick up more as you watch it.
Can you pick out any few examples?
Oh, man, I think the MiG not being a real MiG was one of them. Yeah, one of the big ones. And I think the one we were going to talk about here in a minute is a big one, and I thought there was a couple other ones. There's anybody out there that's interested, I definitely encourage you to go to YouTube because there's a bunch of YouTube videos that kind of analyze the movie, but also things that they got wrong, things that got right, things that you may not have.
And you're picking up on those things.
Yeah. Those are really, really cool things to have.
Nice. So let's get into our first closing segment. This is the awards segment.
Yeah.
So
we're probably going to disagree, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say, Riley, I think you consider this one a classic. Yes,
I do.
I don't think it's a classic.
Fair enough.
In my view, because of its blockbuster status, I thought it was that. But after watching it not being that roller coaster ride like I thought it was going to be, one, it was a little bit too long for a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, it's like an hour and 50 minutes.
A little like you were saying. I think you said it before. Like aviation nerds like you might be drawn into it and lose track of time, but me myself expecting something different.
What's a good example of a classic that you would label from that time period? What would you throw a classic out there? And I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know you've got a few ideas.
Like from the 80s.
Yeah, like would it be like Breakfast Club and stuff like that? Would be a classic.
That's the actual one that popped into my mind, but I wouldn't use that as a. I would say Back to the Future. Back to the Future is a great one that really... It's
iconic. I mean,
another blockbuster. And that one definitely like takes the reins.
That's a good point.
You're kind of there with them rather than
spectating. And maybe with Top Gun, it's the fact that it's very niche in the fact that it's fighter pilots. Back to the Future is very like broad open. Oh, it's this family kid. He's kind of, and everybody can apply themselves to it. With fighter pilot stuff, like I'm an aviation nerd, so I'm like, oh yeah, it's a classic. Versus somebody's like, I don't give a crap about planes.
True.
Maybe that,
but I feel like it's generally accepted as a I don't want to say blockbuster in this instance, but I mean classic.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people consider it that.
It's almost, and it's kind of a time capsule too.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. I was mentioning towards the end or the beginning of it that it definitely gives off the 80s vibes. Definitely 80s vibes. You get the Meg Ryan with the bob cut coming in, being her. So
she's so fun.
She's so fun. Definitely I wouldn't consider it a classic, but I also wouldn't consider it a bust.
Sure. Either. I think you found an appreciation for it.
Certainly. Yeah. Maybe it's just the thing with the podcast, but if somebody that I likes it.
Fair enough. You're right.
I like it in proxy.
Well, I actually could put up the waterboarding material because I was going to waterboard you if you didn't like it.
Yes.
So I can put that away now.
You can. No, I mean, keep it out.
I mean, you wanted to shower. Oh, Jesus. This is off the rails.
I'm sweating a lot all of a sudden.
Let me turn the fan back on.
It's very humid outside.
No, that's true.
So let's get into the next award, the least important character. Riley, I want your opinion because I think I just talked about it. I think the other fighter pilots, they're the most least important characters. They're very interchangeable.
I want to make the best call here because there's a lot of ones you could say. I mean, can we say the guy? Does it need to be one of the pilots? Because I want to say it's the guy in the bridge that gets his coffee spilled on himself. And he's like, I want some butts. I want him to be the least important character. However, he's supposed to be a non-important character, so I get that. But yeah, I would say the fact that we, unless we sat down and analyzed it, I would say the fact that we can't remember which of these supporting pilots is which kind of says that they're the least important.
Yeah.
They're so cookie cutter, I think is why it's
definitely. They definitely tried to distinguish themselves, but it did not work. I like what you said about the guy with the coffee because that's what I feel like he's only there whenever Tom Cruise wants to do a flyby.
Exactly.
That very last one, he was getting handed a cup of coffee, and not expecting it at all. I don't think he dropped that one. If I'm not,
no, I think he just spills it on him.
Yeah,
and then when he walks out of chewing them out, he runs into the guy carrying the woman carrying a whole thing of them. Yeah, but I think can I give you a second one? I really think the second one needs to be Tim Robbins playing Merlin because at this point, Tim Robbins is a big character. He's in Shawshank Redemption. That's Tim Robbins. Is that on your list? That's on your list. Okay,
on my list. Yeah.
I think it's iconic and a classic, but he's in that movie and he's the lead role in that movie. So Tim Robbins is somebody.
I see.
And I want to say now Shawshank could have been after this. I'd have to look at when they were filmed. But Tim Robbins is, regarded as a great actor and a big name. And for him to just be sitting backseat and gets two scenes, it's kind of small,
disrespectful,
kind of SMOL, small,
small. Yeah, yeah. No, okay, interesting. It's a funny story about the Shawshank Redemption. I remember I was on vacation not too long ago, and my family, they live down in South Texas, and we visited them, and I walked in on the middle part, and I mean, everybody in the household was zoned in on Shawshank Redemption. I was just like, nope, gotta go. I think I went and took like an hour shit or something. Saving it. Yeah, save myself. So.
Yeah, I think you're gonna like it. I think you're gonna like the way you look. I guarantee it.
Tim Robbins?
Men's Warehouse.
Oh, okay. Like, Tim Robbins? Is that his thing?
No, Red Robin.
Red Robin is a great restaurant.
I've never had it.
Unlimited fries. What more could you want?
Potatoes.
Potatoes, starch. I love it.
Oh, geez.
I think you, me, and the audience share the love of starch.
Definitely.
So let's get into the next award. Standout moments. I think for me, I would definitely say when he went into the dead spin and
Goose dies.
Yeah, Goose dies.
Yeah,
that's definitely.
I think I want to even nail in closer to a specific. Would be him holding Goose in the water. I think is the heaviest.
Yeah. Yep. There's whenever they're swimming up to get them, like I guess the rescuer or whatever is like, you gotta let him go.
You gotta let him go, buddy. Yeah. And that's so like foreshadowing and symbolic of
certainly.
Dude, you nailed it.
Oh yeah. No, that's a great point. Yeah.
And I didn't catch that till today. So.
Nice. Nice. So I definitely say those two, or excuse me, and then the final one is the final like actual real life scenario.
Yes.
It was just,
Yeah.
I was trying to Snapchat and get a good picture, but I got that Star Wars looking one.
Heck yeah, dude.
No, it's just though it's hard in movie format to visualize a dogfight.
Right.
They did a really good job.
I think they did too. I think that's fair. That's fair.
What about you?
Yeah, so I think
you said the helicopter.
I think Tom Cruise holding Anthony Edwards is very big, and of course depending on how much emotions you have for your friends and family. But man, I mean, I just picture myself holding a best friend that it could have been my fault that he died. You put yourself in those shoes and like. You have so much love for that person, it's like a brother, and so he's holding him and he's like,
imagining that you led to their death.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
just
heartbreaking.
Wanting to do whatever you could to make this right, and you just can't because it is where it is. So that's a huge scene. Nice. Standout moment would probably be, I think so. Like, let's say the love scene, right? And I think I think the implications are more
overt.
No. So I think the implications are a bigger standout than the actual scene. So I think the scene is good, but the implications are great. If that makes sense. So
explain yourself.
Yeah. So I think they culminate this love. Or attraction, lust, whatever it is, for a while throughout the movie. They do a fairly good job of spreading it out, and then it comes to a head per se, right at that scene. So I think the implications of like they're actually going for it. They're just like throwing caution to the wind. They're going for it. They're just giving into emotion, temptation, what all the different hormones are,
right? And
giving into it. And so like I like what it implies, but I think the scene could have been done better. I think they're both very awkward in their lovemaking that they portrayed in the scene. Does that make sense? Like I think that takes you out of the build-up.
The overacting.
Exactly.
Yeah. The overacting in that scene is immaculate from Tom Cruise.
I don't think anybody looks like that. So, so based on my research.
Yeah. How much research have you done, Riley?
I cannot confirm nor deny.
No comment.
No comment. Plead the fifth. And so I think, I think what it implies is like, yes, like there's success there.
Right.
I think that's great. It's undershadowed by the actual scene itself. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, which it's funny. Like I actually did not know. I thought that sex, or I'm not even gonna call it a sex scene. Like,
I mean, that's what it is. That's what it is. It's not good.
It's very iconic because I knew of it's like silhouettes. You see the silhouettes, and you see the
and the song,
Yeah, the song exactly.
Take my breath away.
I was thinking it was like from what's that buddy cop movie with the dude who plays Jesus Christ and Mel Gibson.
What?
Mel Gibson and Donald Glover?
Danny Glover.
Yeah.
Donald Glover's Childish Gambino.
Oh, right.
No relation, I don't think.
Really?
Actually, I don't think so. But you're talking about not Die Hard. It's the other one. Danny Glover's
Lethal Weapon.
That's right.
Lethal
Danny
Weapon.
Glover's always like, I'm getting too old for this shit. Like,
exactly. I thought it was in that and not.
Interesting.
Yeah, not this one.
Okay.
I've never seen those ones, so I
I
have
just
no
know about
basis.
him.
But
I do like Danny Glover though. He's great.
Yeah.
He's great. Okay. Hey, one extra. This is one of the pieces of trivia. So I wanted you, when we were watching the movie, sorry to throw this in here, but when we were watching the movie, I pointed out a scene. I said, take a mental image of this.
Yes. What
was that scene?
It was when the elevator scene, it was, I think, the second.
Yes. So what did you notice that was kind of strange about that scene?
It was odd because it didn't look like her. It looked like, it was just a different getup that she had.
You picked up on it. No, that's it. You picked up on it.
Really?
So it is her. So what happened was they filmed the movie, they put it all together, and they released it to like a focus group. What do you call it? Like a primary screening,
right?
And the audience didn't think there was enough love interest and enough chemistry and enough like
for that sex scene to happen.
Yes.
Oh.
And so what they did is after production, Kelly McGillis is already working on another movie. Now, she's blonde in Top Gun. Oh. She's already off working on another movie. And you can tell at the back of her hair's dark. Yeah. They put it up in a ball cap.
That's what I was thinking that it was a different person.
That's why. That's exactly why. They filmed it after production. And that's not real typical of movies. I mean, I guess it happens.
Post-production, yeah.
Yeah, but that's that scene.
Interesting.
Isn't that a good tidbit?
Interesting. Because, you said before it even had started, like, pay attention. I was just like...
Yeah.
That does not look
you nailed
like
it.
Kelly McGinnis.
You nailed it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Because I was like...
Because she's wearing like a leather jacket.
I wanted to say something, but I was like, I don't...
Yeah.
It looks enough like her that I was like, maybe.
Yeah.
But it was just odd. It was very odd.
Very odd.
Like,
very odd.
I mean, it was a good... post-production scene. That's a good scene to add.
Yeah.
It was pretty... It was funny.
Yeah.
But,
so...
Interesting. I learned something new.
Yep.
I guess I have. This is a special award. This is just something.
I like it. Go for it. Go for
it. The Cowboy Who Wanted to Fly award. It goes to Wolfman.
The cowboy that wanted to fly.
Yeah, over the moon.
That's right. The cowboy that could.
Little cowboy that could. Little wolf that could.
Poor guy. What Lord. A pup.
So, you mentioning the trivia. Let's go ahead and get into the other pieces.
Sure.
My piece that I picked out, I think it's so funny. It says the real Top Gun school imposes a $5 fine to any staff member that quotes the movie.
That's awesome. I bet it goes in a jar and it buys people beer.
Or pizza party at the end.
Pays for showers. I don't know.
That pays for showers, pays for the water.
No, I
use a lot of it.
It pays for the coffee that gets spilt when they do flybys.
Yeah, of course. No, somebody's gonna pay for it.
It's not gonna pay for itself.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? But no, that is a really random one. It's funny that it's $5. You know, I mean, those guys.
It's very specific. Yeah,
it is. I guess it's more than
I don't have a $5 bill on me.
It's 2 pence every time.
I don't even have 2 pence.
I don't know what a pence is. So
thought it was a penny. But...
Oh geez,
and then a lot to learn.
Yeah, and then the other trivia that I picked out was because that this was new for me today, and I did not realize it until I watched the special features while you were outside chilling, getting some stuff ready. I watched special features that I had already seen before, and watched it again, and noticed that the prime technical advisor was a former Navy pilot, former Top Gun guy.
I remember you saying that.
His name is Viper. His real name is Viper, or his real name, his call sign.
Clarence Viper.
His call sign was Viper, which is where Tom Skerritt gets his from. It's kind of based on him a little bit. Oh. But this guy plays the old man in the bar at the beginning. He gets a little, not cameo, but the old guy in the bar in the beginning that Tom Cruise is like, I'm going to save you from that old man. Remember the guy sitting in the booth?
Oh!
That's a real former naval pilot, and he plays technical advisor to the production team.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Whenever we were watching that scene, I was like, they gave no explanation of who that was.
And it makes sense now why he's in it.
Yeah, definitely. But it was just an odd place to do it.
The second depth of that is his name is Pete. And originally Tom Cruise's character was going to be Evan. And they were like, that's kind of weird. And they gave him Pete as an homage to him as well. So Viper is the other guy. There's a double homage to this one guy.
Okay, when it said Viper, I was like thinking the big guy.
Exactly.
Huh, so, interesting. That's funny.
Yeah.
Wasn't there one more? Oh, yeah. You mentioned there's one in here about Tom Cruise's size.
Oh, yes, because we kept keying on that. We're like, what's he standing on?
Yeah, like, is he was... No, it was whenever he was doing that face-off with Val Kilmer in the gym,
there's no way.
in the locker room or whatever. Right. He's like, what are you, standing on a soapbox or something? Val Kilmer looks like he towers over him.
I wonder how tall Val Kilmer is. I need to look
good question. Because Tom Cruise is 5'7", and this fact, it says that Kelly McGillis is 5'10".
Yeah, she's a tall drink of water.
Yeah,
Val
drink of water. I'm 5'9".
She's a tall drink of shower. Val Kilmer is 6 foot.
Sorry, you said tall glass of shower. Yes. Lost it.
That's the ongoing theme.
Wait, Val Kilmer was
6 foot.
Ooh.
So Tom had to stand on platform shoes. Is that what it was?
I think so. Yeah. It says where's lifts.
Lifts.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh,
that's
guy.
Crazy.
Poor guy.
Yeah, I know. That's one thing. But after that, have you ever seen that Family Guy episode where they make fun of Tom Cruise?
Which episode? Isn't there a few?
Oh, yeah. There's one where he's like he's like a friend of Stewie's or whatever. And he's Stewie size.
Maybe I have. Isn't there one where they make a reference to Katie Holmes being in a closet, like trapped?
I think so. Yeah. Actually, I think it is that episode.
Oh, okay.
Tom Cruise gets like jealous because Stewie won't be his friend or whatever because he's too short. Gosh. Poor Tom Cruise.
Family Guy's a gym.
I love it. So yeah, Riley, I guess if you don't have anything else.
No, man, we nailed it, dude.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So, firstly, thank you for listening to this week's episode of the You Haven't Seen That Movie podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Also, a big thank you to my guest Riley for joining me.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me feed you and coming down and hanging out and just sharing some laughs, man. It's a good time.
Oh, I'll be back down here.
Definitely, bro. I'm down. I love movies, man. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yep, let me know.
Can't wait. If you want to show your support for the You Haven't Seen That Movie podcast, consider subscribing to our Facebook group and our Instagram page. The Facebook's at facebook.com/YHSTMP and Instagram is instagram.com/YHSTMpodcast. Like the movie, hate it, call our voicemail. I'll send you a sticker. But yeah, other than that, see everybody next week.
Yeah, thanks for having me, David. See you guys.
No problem. Bye. 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 No problem. Bye.